Man, look at how happy my little betta is. He just loves his little habitat. You can see how active and healthy and happy he is. No, but seriously, this is not his home. Obviously, this is not his home. He'd be dead by now. But no, he just got out of a dip. No, this isn't a salt dip. This is a medicated dip. It's got antibacterial medication in there. That's why it's that ugly yellow color. And yeah, he's been acclimated back towards this tank. He was in here, but Ellis is in here now because he's gonna need his dips almost daily again. And Ellis, he's healthy. He doesn't need to be pulled out of here, but pulling anything out of this tank is a pain in the ass. And it's cloudy because of this good stuff. Gotta love how water clarifier makes your water a little murky. But yeah, no, that's just figured I'd be a little bit of a dork and just show how happy my little betta is. Poor guy. All right, well, it's time to get him back in his home. And since I don't want that water getting back in there, the reason is because it's antibacterial medication. Keep that filter or heater underwater. I hate doing this, but like I said, I don't want this water in there. It'll shoot my bacterial filter otherwise. Sure. You still got enough water? All right, awesome. You know what? I'm gonna make this a little bit easier on him. There you go, buddy. I'm just gonna keep on acclimating him. He's pretty much already there. Right now I'm just trying to dilute that bacterial medication as much as possible. But his fins continue to look worse, and I don't think that they are from him just getting nipped on the environment. So I figured in addition to the water changes he's been getting, he's gonna also need daily dips now. And it looks like it's bacterial based off of how tattered I shouldn't say tattered. He's always looked tattered, but it's an uneven tatter. And when it's a more even with like a whitish, fluffy sort of color on it, it's more likely to be a fungal infection. Where if you notice this darker color to it on his fins, buddy, you're gonna have to get up for me, buddy. There you go. But if you notice that darker color on his fins, that tells me it's bacterial. And plus the fact that it is not even. So his fins have always had this tatter to them since I got him, because I got him, he was one of my rescues. But unfortunately, it looks like he's gonna need some more intense treatment. There you go, buddy, get right back in that home of yours. Oh no, you don't want to be in the cup, buddy. Cups aren't for bettas. All right. Let's see, he went right down to his corner here. Maybe you can't because of this little orange thing, but he just snuck behind the rock. So there is enough room behind this rock for him, but I am gonna move it out just to be safe. There you go. Tons of hair algae in here. I just threw some narites in there, so they should be going at it. You can see that little narite in the back doing his work now. But yeah, Goober is back in what is hopefully going to be his more permanent home. Should be easier to get him out of here than it was to get him out of the 6.5. Like, this thing is a pain in the butt to get a fish out of, and mostly because of the red root floaters. I threw a lot of them in the bucket, and I don't know how many of these are going to do well, because a lot of them are submerged. But this one should be good right here, looking quite pretty. Get the focus there. But you'll notice the surface of them is hydrophobic. The water doesn't stick to it. That is not to say that that they can be wet In fact, you don't want them to get wet. Like these down here, these are gonna get algae on them and then they're gonna mold and die. Or not mold, they're gonna get algae and then they're gonna fall apart and die. So, yeah. That's why I also had some baby duckweed on there. Because that stuff also grows its roots pretty long. But I'll throw some water spangle if the red roots go away. I'll throw some water spangle in there on top of that. Yeah, this was going to be just a little joke video of me showing a betta in a cup and seeing if I could get people upset, but it ended up turning into a little short little video, just a little mini update. Goober has definitely gotten his fins looking like crap. You got Davis over here. There he is. What you doing, Davis? His fins are looking like crap too. His always did. Still working with him. He actually doesn't look as bad as I thought he would. Yeah, no, you don't look that bad, do you? Little crackhead. I love you. I love you, Davis. He's my favorite for sure. So we'll show the little female gup how she is right now. She's still in her methylene blue tank. Her wiggle is getting less severe, which is a good thing, honestly. She's still got her balance and her wiggle's getting less. That's recovery, if you ask me. Like, I just wish she'd eat something, because otherwise it's not going to matter. Recovery physically ain't going to... She might feel better, but if she's not going to eat, she's still going to die. So that's what I'm worried about, is getting her something to eat. But her stress levels are down. She's a lot more relaxed now. Bless her little heart. Got Goldie in this tank right over here, if I can find him. There he is. All right, and this is still on its bacterial bloom. There's still one bladder snail in there that's wreaking havoc, so they're doing good work, getting things all nice and cleaned up for whenever it's time for something to be in there. I honestly might dump a couple more snails in there. I just don't want any ram's horns in there because they have a tendency to poop everywhere. My little brine hatchery, you might be able to see, but maybe not. You probably won't pick up, because most of these are just going to look like eggs on the camera, but there are brine shrimp floating around in there, so it has been successful to at least hatch them. And then I got my little baby guppies over here. There are you little guys. I just reach my hand in here every once in a while just to disturb the surface, make sure no scum forms. You can see I have some betta beads on the bottom because there's no substrate. I figure just having a little something to help soak up some nitrates is going to be helpful for these little guys. I've also been looking into it, and everything I see about Orbeez, and I know these aren't Orbeez, but everything I see about Orbeez says that, well, no, you wouldn't want to use them for a fish tank because a fish can eat it. They're all saying they're non-toxic, and it's like, that just got me thinking, like, technically I could make substrate out of Orbeez, but I would just have to get it set up and everything before any fish got introduced. And my idea is that I would have them soaked in like water conditioner and really just anything to help aid with beneficial bacteria, and I would put them on top of a layer of ceramic filter media. And I would only use it for a hospital tank as a kind of soft substrate for them to lay on where no fish's fins are going to get hurt by that. I thought that would be kind of an interesting idea, and I need to look more into it, because everything I've seen so far says that there's not really an issue with it. It just says don't have the fish eat the beads, because that obviously is going to kill the fish. I'll give a little Nelly check. She's been doing well. I got to keep her water low though because she is one of my best jumpers. And she's a little crackhead when she wants to be. She just saw, yep, there she goes. You can see she's looking great. Little Nelly. She's my oldest betta too. I've had her the longest. Really nothing's going on in this tank, just some shrimp in there. Letting that duckweed grow as much as it can. Stem plant's doing well and that Java fern's really growing up. Wow, nice. Here's the 55, it's finally doing its thing, looking a lot nicer. We got 2 dwarf gouramis in there now because I wanted to try to get a female. As you can see her right there. But I wanted to get a female for my male, see how they would react and interact. And it's funny. It's like I was a little worried that they might get at it with the betta, but no. Honestly, they all 3 of them just kind of mind their own business. The little dwarf has tried. The male dwarf has multiple times gone up to the female, and it's funny watching him. He'll be like, hugs, hugs, and she has no interest. They're funny guys to watch. But he likes to be sitting around the back here, usually. He'll peck at the bottom of the filter otherwise. I wonder where he is right now. He's doing a good job hiding. Oh, there you are. I couldn't find you. But there's the male gourami. He is a dwarf. You can see right there, just no interest in the betta. And that's why it works. He doesn't care about her and she doesn't care about him. You can see the other dwarfs all the way over here. She's having the time of her life in here. Like, I'm always seeing her just swimming around, going everywhere and exploring the crannies. And it just makes me so happy to see that every fish in this tank is just seems to be having the time of their life. They're not stressed out. They're just enjoying themselves. And let me just say, this albino elephant ear guppy, I think she's the true centerpiece of this aquarium. That is a gorgeous gup. So is the tiger gup there, though. I want to get more of them later on. Maybe just breed them, these little tiger guppies. The females aren't quite as pretty as the males, but they are gorgeous. Wish I could show you the female, but I don't know where she is right now. You're not. They look a little bit like elephant ears. I think, yeah, you're my bent spine girl. You're not my tiger. You're another elephant. There's just a lot of, oh, there she is. I was gonna say, there's just a lot of room for them so they can kind of get away. But there's the female tiger. That's what the females look like. And they're still stunning. Like the one upstairs, like she's prettier in my opinion than this one, but this one's colors have come in now that she's in a bigger tank, where the other one's 6, so hers aren't coming in yet. But no, those 2 are just gorgeous guppies. And then that albino guppy is, those 3 are probably my favorite in this tank, aside from the obvious betta and gouramis. But this little male blue ribbon, I'm pretty sure he's an Endler, but I don't know. My pet store calls them blue ribbon guppies. But yeah, they're all doing great down here too. Got about a family of guppies, a family of mollies, a family of platies, and then we got the betta and the 2 dwarf gouramis. There's the female, just doing her thing. And the male's over here doing his. There's nothing else to add to this tank. This tank is done. Like, only thing I'm adding more is just plants. Plants. I'm going to put more clippings in for my upstairs plants. You can see some nice algae growth is starting to form on the rocks and everything. So I'll probably get some autosynclus at some point. But for the most part, my algae eater is already in there. He's the Siamese algae eater from upstairs. And there is also a Dr. Gara in there for my bottom feeder. So that's why I got 3 filters in here. I might even be adding a 4th at some point, but you can see the Gara right there. He's still a little bitty guy. He thinks he's an algae eater. See if he'll pop up on this side. Oh nope, he's on the filter. He's a funny guy. I love the Garas. Like, these little guys, even though they can be territorial, so I wouldn't keep a whole bunch of them together. In fact, maybe just one. They have a lot of personality for a bottom feeder fish. Like, whenever I would go to feed my bettas, Mongo, like actually the Dr. Gara I had up in my 20 gallon originally. I surrendered him because he was getting too big, and I knew he wasn't going to be permanent in my 20. I didn't have this tank yet, otherwise he would be in here now. But he was one of my favorite fish, because whenever I'd go up to feed my betta, I'd have the bloodworms dangling down, and he'd come right up, kind of like a seahorse would. He'd be vertical like this, and he'd look at you, and just be like, "Is it my turn? My turn to eat?" He'd come right up and he'd eat the little bloodworms right off the tongs, and then he'd go back to the bottom. But no, they're very neat fish. Like all the fish in here have their own personalities. Like you can see, the male and the female are just kind of sticking by each other now. He's doing the things like hugs, and she'll run away here in a minute. And I love them so much. Oh, they're so precious. I've had people tell me gouramis are goofy looking fish, and I'm like, they might be at first, but they are so precious. Just don't get multiple of them together normally. Like, these dwarf gouramis are a lot more community focused than your normal gouramis, and gouramis get huge. These guys will only get to be, I think, about this big, somewhere around like right here. So they do get fairly large, but they aren't anything like a normal gourami that'll get about the size of close to your forearm. Really, I don't think a gourami gets quite that big. I think they get like 7 to 8 inches, and then you have the larger, air quotes, true gouramis that will get to be like 12 inches. But for the most part, your gouramis are just, I would recommend them mostly for like a tank this size. If you wanted one gourami, a 55 is okay for that, or maybe even better, an 80. I would say an 80, because the 55 is pretty skinny, but it is tall, and it's 48 inches across. I love sitting in this chair. They always just come over and look at you. I was like, is it time to eat yet? Almost, but not quite, guys. You can see I put some of my sparkling gouramis from upstairs down here just to help thin the numbers of them, because they were starting to go at one another. So I figured I'd just put them in here, split their group in half so it's 3 and 3, and they're getting along a lot better now. The bigger ones are down here now. There is one big one upstairs, but they're doing all right. Yeah, I hope everyone's day is going well. Mine's going pretty darn good too. I'm just sitting and enjoying watching my fish. I'll let you look at this guy one last time. I seriously mean it. These tiger guppies are just stunning. Try to get a good view of him. Get a good view of you too. Yeah, I'd love to see these guys breed. I just don't know that I have enough of them now that the one female's sick. If she doesn't get better, I probably won't have enough to breed them. But hey, it's the name of the game, and I'm not giving up on her. Every life to me is precious. So it doesn't matter if that fish looks like she's on death's doorstep. I'm gonna do everything I can to get her back up. I'm just not terribly hopeful, because like I say, she's not eating, but hey, I'm not giving up yet. There's still a chance she might eat today when I try to feed her. But yeah, hope everyone's having a nice day. You can see these two are trying to breed now. So maybe, just maybe we'll have more tiger gups, but I doubt it. But I hope everyone has a nice day.